At Cohen with Jay Williams, I know you're relaxed. It's now time to work.
305, my city, my city. This is one of my favorite stops on the road, Ed, and I'm sure the same applies to the visiting players.
No more time on the beach. It's time to hoop it up here in South Florida. The Bulls begin the game with the basketball. Beverly to Levine.
Ed, I'm going to gloat about my old team here for a second. Did you know the Bulls are the only NBA franchise to win multiple championships and never lose an NBA Finals series in their history?
6-0 right now. It helped to have a guy named MJ. But, Jay, think about this. If he's not gone those 2 seasons, maybe it's 8 straight Finals wins. It's the Heat with the possession. Probing the defense. Butler to Love. Slams it down.
That probably won't be the last time we see a dunk from him tonight. Maybe sometimes you should send a message. Give him a hard foul. Don't let it be so easy.
Beverly to Zach LaVine. Screen coming. DeRozan with a shot off the mark.
The most important thing a shooter can do is continue to shoot. The defense is always going to give great effort, but it's more of your psyche that goes into the next.
Stuffs it down with authority.
If you didn't dunk that, then we would have to talk about it.
Beverly into the front court. Down by 1. He'd have the basketball. Throws it down.
How about right after the dunk, he looks right over towards the bench, gets a call from the coach about what defense they're in, and then gets his team set. Those are people that are able to lead men.
LaVine to DeRozan. In the slam.
I mean, with so much talk these days about three-point shooting and the spacing on the court and having versatile athletic wings, sometimes when you have a dominant big man, you keep giving him the ball. You let him be that anomaly.
Jimmy Butler for 2. Jimmy Butler, 3 for 3. That's a perfect start.
I don't know what halftime evaluation will be worse, the ankles or the bruised ego.
LaVine to DeRozan. Here comes the screen. Beverly to DeRozan. Trying to cash in. Add 2 points to the board.
I don't know what the point of you having a scouting report is if you don't utilize it. You're allowing him to get to positions on the floor where you know he feels most comfortable. Make it a challenge for him by making him do something uncomfortable.
Throws it down.
We call that get your money and put it in the bank.
DeMar DeRozan with the basketball to LaVine. Beverly to Zach LaVine. The jumper's off the mark. Lowry with it. Leads 3. To Butler. Nikola Vucevic pins it.
That kid can block out the sun, Ed.
Has a look. Deep 2 there. Won't go.
And that's how you close out on a shooter with a sense of urgency. The shooter was more worried about his landing space than he was the shot.
Missed it. They weren't going to give that to him.
Because he had no body control. You have to be able to control your body when you attack the rim at full speed. That's part of your concentration. People assume concentration just on the rim, but your body control is everything. Be able to speed yourself up or slow yourself down.
Beverly into the front court. They're down 3. To Vucevic. DeRozan. Butler into the front court. Looking to make something happen. And look out. Big finish at the rim.
You used to hear all these coaches talk about, we need players to run the floor. No, I don't need you to run the floor. I need you to run the floor with purpose. Those are two different things. When you run the floor in attack mode, that's when plays like this occur.
Here comes the screen. That's what you like to see off the pick and roll. Nice, easy basket.
The pro game has really come down to P&Rs. Let's see how the defense adjusts.
Lowry into the front court. Up by 3. Knocked loose. Jay, sometimes it's not just the Heat that does opponents in Miami.
I've been a victim to this multiple times when we have played the Heat, and I think other franchises from cold cities have been the same. There's a reason why the Miami Heat have such an advantage down here on South Beach. You catch them on an off night, it's rare that opposing teams...
Knocked away. It's getting dangerous down there.
And I hated getting my shot blocked like that, but I did like getting the ball right back.
Beverly. To DeRozan. Can't connect.
I just love where this takes you into the psychological battle as a player offensively. Was that a great contest, or did you just miss the shot? But now you have me thinking about that the entire next possession.
So Lowry. 5 to shoot for Miami. Jimmy Butler. He's now shooting 5 for 7.
I mean, I don't know how much better the defense has to play you on that one. The guy was right in your grill, and you still knocked it down.
It's DeRozan. To Beverly. Butler to bring it up. Up 5. Has a chance. Butler with a shot. No good. Beverly into the front court. He'll run the offense. To Vucevic. Jimmy Butler rejects it.
Oh, he blocked that with authority.
Love. No good to Butler. Down low. Scores from the post. We talk so much about who are the MVP candidates, but there are other guys who are so valuable to their teams, and Jimmy Butler at the forefront of that list.
I have a phrase that I use when I describe players like Jimmy Butler. It's called most valuable mentality. There are certain players that approach the game with a certain mindset every single day that they will do anything possible to win the ball game. He plays with his heart and soul every single possession and every night, and he will leave it on the court if that means he can win the ball game.
Lowry. Out of bounds, last touch by the Heat. Both coaches hitting the reset button. Fresh legs coming onto the floor. Beverly into the front court. 5-point game. Lonzo Ball. Tough matchup against Butler. Nothing going here on that drive. DeRozan. He made his first effort, but not that time. Miami with the basketball to Butler. Here comes the screen. And Jimmy Butler can't connect. Beverly into the front court. Down 5. Knocked loose. Oladipo. There's a pass stolen by Chicago. Beverly. And throws it down.
That's what I'm talking about. Nice finish. It's all business.
To Butler. Nothing going here on that drive. Butler. From long range. That out of his range and no good. Beverly into the front court. Down 3. Shot by Lonzo there. No good. to Oladipo. Here comes the screen. Butler for two. Not that time.
Let's be realistic. He's probably not going to miss a lot of shots. But the more effort you can give, you want to try to tire him out. Take his legs away. Make him work to catch the ball. That's how you win a defensive battle.
Knocked loose. He'd come up with it. Miami's got it. Butler. From the painted area, won't go down. Beverly to Drummond. DeRozan with a shot, no good. Andre Drummond with a piece.
That's why a rim protector is a necessity in this game.
And finishes strong.
Just wait a second, Ed. Wait 1 second. Can we go back to the play before this great play that we just saw? Just because you have a bad offensive possession, you can't allow that to go down and reciprocate itself on the defensive end. One bad play does not make two bad plays. You have to bounce back. That's how you play this game.
To the rim, lays it up and in.
Good shot, Money. They're going to have to find answers defensively and quickly because he's carving them up in the first quarter.
Now whistle. We'll get a timeout call by Chicago. They'll catch their breath in what's now a 5-point game. Some lineup changes now for both clubs. Jimmy Butler tips it. He'd get control. Oladipo into the front court. Leads 5. Well done. Kyle Lowry missed his first. That one goes.
It looks like he's using his ball handling to feel the game out. I know it looks like he's just playing around out there trying to get the fans going. That is true, but he's also finding his rhythm.
Ball. Gets a look. Can't hit.
I love when I see a good contest. You're crowding the player's landing space, which naturally makes him worrisome about turning an ankle on that landing.
The monster stuff. They have set the tone in this one.
I love when I see offenses come out in beast mode. You attack that paint, you get to the rim, inevitably the floor will open up for you to knock down some threes.
Curling inside, and he's fouled. Earns a trip to the foul line, Jay.
You see this all the time. The defensive players establishing his presence on the court and also checking to see how far the refs are going to let him go.
First one, count it. And he makes them both.
Oh, yeah, get your money, man.
Lonzo Ball brings it up the floor. Probing the defense. Not that time. Across the timeline, it's Lowry. His team up by 7. Oladipo to Butler. Deep right corner. Shot clock for the Heat down to 3. Beyond the arc for 3. You on top. Jimmy Butler. Contested 3. He buries it.
Man, you making people dance out there? I see you with the footwork.
19-footer at the buzzer. It's good to beat the buzzer. He got it off just in time. So count the basket, and they're back within striking distance at the end of the first quarter. Ed Cohen, Jay Williams with you as we get things started here in the second quarter. It's the Heat with the possession. Oladipo to Butler. Oladipo to Butler. 5 to shoot for Miami. Jimmy Butler for 2. Knocks it down off the step back.
When the ball's in his hands, we all knew what was going to happen.
Ball with the basketball. Trailing by 10. Knocked loose. Victor Oladipo with the slam.
You know, teams usually shoot higher percentages early in the shot clock. Plus, you take away the legs of the defense. You have to dictate the pace.
Knocked loose. He'd come up with it.
Come on, let's dig in. Let's really build this lead.
Oladipo to Butler. Count the basket. A lot of contact. No foul.
There you go, finally. Shoot your shot.
Ball brings the rock up court. Short jumper won't go down. The follow won't go either.
And this happens all the time in this league. Sometimes offensively, you're tired. It's one of those type of nights. You combine that with the fact that the defense is hungry and active and contesting everything, that's why shots aren't dropping.
Oh, emphatic slam.
Like my old coach used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's way too easy. Just keep attacking. It's easy money.
And he's fouled. Good play by the shooter.
You know what? That's an even better play by the defender. I like the foul there. Send a message. Nothing easy.
He's going to have to earn it now. Lonzo Ball at the line. Nope. First one does not go. No good on the first, no good on the second. 0 for 2. It's the Heat with the possession. Oladipo to Butler. Old school. Backs his man down for the basket. Lonzo with it. His guys down big. with the fadeaway. Burns him for the basket.
You feel that? I see the confidence building.
Oladipo into the front court. Looking to make something happen. Oh, bad pass, and the Bulls have it. Levine to Ball. Oh, Lonzo Ball. 3 for 6 now.
I don't know if the scouting report has made its way out here yet, but if anything, it says you need to not let him get that close to the rim.
To Butler. The screen sets him up for 2.
You see, you can't actually get mesmerized by the ball. You actually have to focus on the dribbler's belly button. I know that may sound cheesy, but trust me, he can't go anywhere without his core.
Lonzo Ball doesn't have the touch. No good.
It's easy. Force guys into low percentage shots. That's the reason why we're big into stats. It was all provided to you before the game in the scouting report.
They'll go to Butler down low. Had a good look there, but it's no good.
And you have to remember that your hand is part of the ball. There wasn't enough contact on that play for the refs to blow the whistle.
Short jumper misses. To Oladipo.
I got him. Let's go.
Screen coming.
Ice.
Zach LaVine snatching it out of the air.
Just incredible timing on that swat.
Ball into the front court. Down a bundle. And abuses the rim. Big finish for Andre Drummond.
An easy 2. Get back on defense.
He'd have the basketball. Oladipo to Butler. Sizing up the defense. Great defense there, forcing the pickup. Nice pace, sets it up, and slams it down.
It's so amazing when you get a chance to see a player in his own space. It's almost as if the defense doesn't exist. He can go left, he can go right, he can attack. He's playing on that court by himself.
Nothing going here on that drive. To Drummond. Short jumper stays out. Oladipo into the front court. His guys hold a commanding lead. Butler. Nice pass to get things going.
Well, when you play for each other and not just for yourself, that's when great things happen. You essentially lose yourself in what the team is trying to accomplish. It's called unselfish basketball. And there's nothing more beautiful than rewarding your teammate with a nice pass and letting them finish for 2 or 3 points.
Changes coming from both sides right now. DeMar DeRozan, now 4 for 9.
Can we all just agree that that handle is next level, but that jumper is wet too?
That's me. I got ball.
Butler to Love. They'll go to Butler down low. Yes, and the foul. And a chance at 3 coming up.
And I know there's so much excitement about the play, but everybody looks at the player. More people need to pay attention to the guy at the end of the bench, the strength and conditioning coach, because this kid's been putting in the time and effort every day in the weight room.
Udonis Haslem trying to cash in on the three-point play. Shoots it at 75% for his career. Free throw's good. It's a three-point play. This big first half continues. DeRozan with it. He'll run the offense. To Vucevic. Shot from in close, no good. Love to Butler. Flushes it home. This is becoming a runaway.
They're getting to the rim at will, probably because we're watching Matador defense. You probably want to get in the way of your defender if they keep trying to attack the rim.
Too much contact, and free throws coming.
I don't know about that one, Ed. I always thought your hand was part of the ball.
Zach LaVine has got 2 shots coming. For his career, 82%. First one goes down. Second one off the mark. He goes 1 for 2. To Butler. Nikola Vucevic sends it away. Can't miss those. Beverly to LaVine. The ball controlled by Kyle Lowry. To Love. Butler. Shot from the lane won't go. Beverly to Vucevic. Here comes the screen. Zach LaVine, 2 of 4 now.
No doubt about where that one was headed.
Butler into the front court. His guys holding the big lead. To Love. Lowry. And Jimmy Butler. Jumper's good.
Well, they have such great flow to their offense this evening. The ball isn't sticking to one player individually. It's moving around the perimeter, and it's zipping. They're playing with a special cohesiveness.
Beverly to Zach LaVine. Going to launch beyond the arc, and he buries it. Jay upping the ante from beyond the arc.
And in today's game, you have to make shots like that. Nice work draining it from deep.
Miami with the basketball to Butler. Tough make through traffic.
You know, from a point guard perspective, one of the things that I learned when I played in the league was that the more I was willing to give the ball up, the harder other players were willing to run to their spots. The harder the bigs were running to the rim. The harder the three-point shooters were running to the three-point line because they knew they could be active recipients. And when they caught the ball, they knew exactly what to do with it.
Pass stolen by Miami.
Keep your foot on the gas, but don't get too reckless.
Lowry. Nice pass to set things up.
There are certain guys in this league that should be put on alert status 24/7 because either they're posterizing you or that attempt can still be a poster.
Beverly with the interception. Great defensive play. Lowry to Love. To Butler. Trying to cash in. Wide open look, won't go. Basket's good on the follow. Way to stay with it.
That's lunch pail business right there. Don't worry about the no call. Keep powering through.
Now the Bulls will take the timeout as they'll take a moment to go over things here in the second quarter. Both teams tweaking their lineups. Here come some changes. Beverly to DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan. He's 5 for 10, shooting 50%.
Might have had an extra dribble or two there, but he got the shot he wanted.
Butler to Love. Butler. Shot's no good. You have to like the confidence, but that was a difficult shot. To Beverly. Nothing going here on that drive. DeRozan with a shot that misses. Love to Butler. Oh, highlight moves. Tough to do with the defender all over you. Love to Butler. There's a pass stolen by Chicago.
You go back to the principles, things that we started working on when we were in first and second grade. Is called the shell drill. You stay down in the stance defensively, you try to deny the next pass away, and you have to communicate. If your conditioning is bad, you have no chance. But if you're able to do all these things together, collectively, you will be able to stop a great passing team.
Miami's got it. Butler to Lowry. Surveys the floor. Lowry to Butler. Gets it in the left corner. Stuffs it down with authority.
And when you get your prescription, you take your medicine and you call it a day.
DeRozan with the basketball. Under a minute to go before halftime. Nothing going here on that drive. Knocks it down from mid-range.
Old school equals high percentage.
To Love. Lowry. No, great defense there, forcing the pickup. To Butler. Off the mark. He's made those before, but that was well defended. Beverly into the front court. His guys can hold for the final shot. Levine. Has a look. Here's the step back.
Ooh, cool, calm, and collective. The 3 C's. His handles are effortless.
Deep two there, won't go. A very one-sided first half of basketball as we are at halftime. Let's get you to our NBA Live studios in Orlando and hand it over to Jalen Rose for our EA Sports halftime report. Jalen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jalen Rose, and this is your EA Sports halftime report. The Heat put together a nice half and were rewarded with a solid lead. They decided to make a statement in the opening half, and they did it by throwing down dunk after dunk after dunk. I think the rim is still shaking. Have a look at the leading scorers for the Miami Heat. The Bulls were unable to find an offensive flow in the opening half. Of course, they still have 2 quarters to turn things around, but it won't happen without making some adjustments. Have a look at the leading scorers for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Bench points.
The Chicago Bulls are getting enough bench production in this contest. Their reserves need to step up and start making an impact in this game.
Player of the half.
Butler is up in the air swatting shots. When he's not doing that, he's down on the floor making steals. Who wouldn't be impressed by a first half like that?
Who was cold?
Every player that makes it to the NBA is a great athlete, but even the best players have off nights. Today has just been one of those nights for this guy. Here we go with the top plays from the first half.
Number 2. Number 1.
Back to Ed and Jay to bring you the second half action.
It's the Heat with the possession.
I got him. Hey, watch this screen left.
So Lowry. Here comes the screen. Lowry to Love. Shot clock for the Heat down to 3. Butler for 2. The rebound cleared by the Bulls. To Levine. Nothing going here on that drive. Beverly to Zach Levine. Whoa! What a finish! Jay, let's see if that's a sign for him.
Well, he's been pretty much non-existent the first 3 quarters, but when you have a play like that, that can get the juices going, and that can help you with your offensive rhythm.
Runner here won't go. Nice follow-up on the dunk there.
Man, they are just continuing to pour it on, but the one thing we know about in this league, you have to make sure that you continue to play with energy because leads can evaporate quickly.
To Levine. To Vucevic. Able to convert inside.
The one thing we know for certain in this league, it doesn't matter how big the margin is, you can always put together a run and get back in this one.
I got ball.
Butler up against DeRozan. Finishing inside the paint on that one.
Did you see the way that dribble freed him up? It created so much space. I did, but the defender didn't.
To Zach Levine. To DeRozan. 5 to shoot for the Bulls. Add 2 points to the board.
There you go. I like seeing scoring coming from unlikely sources.
Butler to bring it up. The lead is 15.
I got some for him.
To Lowry. Here comes the screen. Butler matched up with DeRozan. Big finish at the rim.
This type of game needs to be celebrated. This is the type of culture that is fostered when you play with unselfish players. When you give up a little bit of yourself and you make your teammate look great, that's the difference between winning and losing. So when you see these guys smiling, when you see them giving each other high fives, that's because of the energy that was created from the pass. Pass is one of the most brilliant things we have in this game.
To Butler. Kevin Love. Better late than never. That was his first shot, and it goes down.
And a lot of passers usually have their head on the swivel, but ultimately, either you have a feel for the game or you don't.
Beverly to Vucevic. Count the basket inside.
It just seems like nobody can stop him but him. Once he's found his offensive swag, that boy's deadly.
Ball's controlled by Lowry. Here comes the screen. Nikola.
Oh, and he can't keep it in off the block.
Man, that was impressive. Substitution being made in this one. Love. Oh, bad pass, and the Bulls have it. To Vucevic. Short jumper won't fall.
I just love where this takes you into the psychological battle as a player offensively. Was that a great contest, or did you just miss the shot? But now you have me thinking about that the entire next possession.
DeRozan with it. His guys down big. To Vucevic. Knocked loose. He'd get control. Won't go down. Defender's lucky he wasn't called. The follow won't go either.
But you can't just be a one-dimensional player. I know you're probably frustrated by me even saying that, but when you don't even give the option to pass the ball by utilizing some head fakes or ball fakes here and there, you save the defender by keeping them on their toes with the element of surprise.
DeRozan with the basketball. Down a bundle. Yes, and a foul. He'll have a chance at a three-point play.
Oh, he should get some kind of acting award. That's a great sell by the offensive player. But guess what? The ref spit, and that's the game.
Time for some new personnel into the game. Patrick Beverley at the line for a chance at a three-point play. For his career, 76% from the line. Free throw's good to cap off the three-point play as they draw a tiny bit closer. It's the Heat with the possession. Butler. Zach LaVine doing what he does best.
And if you're on defense on that last possession, no need to look over to the coach's bench, hold up your arms, wonder what did you do. Everybody got back, everybody communicated, everybody pointed. It was just better offense than there was defense.
To Butler. Oh, great pass, setting up the basket.
But did you see the way he was able to do it, Ed? Did you see him constantly probe the defense by maintaining his dribble? Ultimately, if you keep your eyes on all the other defenders, they will lose track of where the ball is. That's where you slip a quick pass in for an easy dime.
Butler into the front court. His guys holding the big lead. And he finishes at the rim.
2 points. Take them any way you can get them.
Bulls with the basketball. To Beverley. Driving right to the basket. Zach LaVine. With that shot, he's 5 for 8.
A two-time dunk champion, I love watching Zach LaVine play. But you can't become obsessed with just attacking the rim. You have to continue to expand your game and really give Chicago that lead guard that they haven't had since D. Rose.
To DeRozan. To LaVine. Fine to shoot. DeRozan. And he's fouled. Very close, Jay. The results, he's going to the line.
I don't know, Ed. Maybe there's a long-term play here. But next game, we're going to be aggressive early. Maybe.
Oops. He missed the first one. Good bounce back. Hits the second. It's a 1-of-2 trip. Ball with it up top. He'll run the offense. Levine to Ball. Here comes the screen.
Right.
Ball to Drummond. Rebound taken by Miami. Oladipo into the front court. His guys hold a commanding lead. To Butler. Oladipo. Oh, if you're a fan, you love the will and the want. Coach has seen enough. He wants some changes. New personnel onto the floor. Beverly into the front court. Looking to make something happen. To Drummond. Doesn't have the touch. No good. Lonzo Ball sends it away.
Just erasing mistakes left and right.
There's a pass stolen by Chicago. To Ball. Oh, the Heat right there to take it away. And it's Beverly there to grab the rebound. Knocked loose. It's a turnover as they head the other way. Tony Bradley able to recover with the block.
Continuous effort is the key for your team's success. No one this entire ball game has quit on a play. That right there, that's what's going to help your team win this game.
Trap this. Come on, we got it.
Rebound comes to Miami. To Butler. Oladipo. Butler to Oladipo. Down to 5 on the 24. Oladipo, not that time. Beverly to Ball. Plenty of contact. The shot no good.
One of the best kept secrets in the game. Utilizing a head fake. Get the defender in the air. Crack into him. Don't give the refs any excuse not to call foul. I put that one on you. You went up a little bit lazy.
Jimmy Butler for 2. Cashes in. Someone has to get into a zip code.
Clearly not afraid of the spotlight here because that was not an easy look.
Beverly. And that's going to get out of bounds. It'll stay with Chicago. Time to adjust. Both coaches making changes on the floor. Beverly to Vucevic. Beverly. Textbook defense.
And big-time coaching strategy by the staff right there, utilizing their bench, keeping fresh legs on that shooter consistently throughout the course of the game.
Oladipo. To Butler. Shot clock violation. Victor Oladipo with the slam.
Just wait a second, Ed. Wait 1 second. Can we go back to the play before this great play that we just saw? Just because you have a bad offensive possession, you can't allow that to go down and reciprocate itself on the defensive end. One bad play does not make two bad plays. You have to bounce back. That's how you play this game.
Knocked loose. Out of bounds the call. Last touch by Patrick Beverly. Looks like both teams are making substitutions. To Butler. Scores from the post.
And if you don't contest, he's knocking that down with ease.
Chicago with the possession. Levine. Takes stock of the floor. Shot from the lane won't go.
It's because he took his eye off his target, Ed. As an offensive player, you have to glare at where the defender's coming to, but quickly redirect yourself to your actual target. He was more consumed with the defender than he was the actual rim.
Blocked away!
That one's in the 15th row.
Huge denial. Butler. Fires the three. They need something to go down. It's no good. There's the buzzer. 3 quarters complete as the Heat enjoy some breathing room. The Bulls in possession as we start the 4th quarter, and they've really had very little go right for them on either end of the floor.
Remember that old line, your attitude determines your altitude? Well, when you see dejected faces on the sideline, that poor body language gave you an impression that they had no chance to win this game.
The big fella, Andre Drummond. Tough shooting. Only 2 for 6 after that make.
Ed, sometimes less is more. Keeping it simple is the best way.
Here comes the screen. Oladipo. Not that time. Grabs his own miss and scores. Good concentration.
You know, it reminds me out of a story a legendary coach once told me. He said, if you ever get in a fight, you're not going to hit somebody with an open hand, correct? You'll probably break a finger. But if you hit somebody with a fist, what is that? That's 5 fingers working collectively together as one. That's how you deliver a knockout punch, and that's what we're seeing tonight.
Old school. Backs his man down for the basket.
Woo, did you see that? Eyes to the rim, and the rest was all net.
Butler. To Love. Oladipo. Rebound taken in by Chicago.
Pick up.
To DeRozan. And hits off a killer step back. He'd have the basketball.
I got him.
Missed it. Almost a foul. They let it go. There you go. Way to stay with it.
Underutilized. Am I getting my point across? Let's see more of that.
DeRozan to Beverly. Off the mark. To Oladipo.
Oh, yes, me and you. Right.
Andre Drummond with the block.
Ed, that's light work for a guy with his ability.
This is my man right here. Y'all get yours. I got ball.
To DeRozan.
Screen.
Here comes the screen. Nothing going here on that drive. And count the basket.
Big shout out to the athletic trainer for this team. It's obvious you've been doing all the preparation required of your team in the weight room in the offseason. Flex on them a little bit.
Lowry to Butler. Leaving no doubt. Slams it down. At this point, if it continues, it just may be good night, Irene.
And ooh, I like that Irene line.
There you go, Jay.
And sometimes as a player on a defensive end, Ed, you need to draw a line in the sand. You have to find a way to change the narrative because right now the constant theme has been too many easy buckets.
Jay, don't deny it. You're an old soul at heart.
Yeah, I still don't know who Irene is, though.
Me neither.
All right.
Ball controlled by Kyle Lowry. To Butler. Rises for the slam.
This type of game needs to be celebrated. This is the type of culture that is fostered when you play with unselfish players. When you give up a little bit of yourself and you make your teammate look great, that's the difference between winning and losing. So when you see these guys smiling, when you see them giving each other high fives, that's because of the energy that was created from the pass. The pass is one of the most brilliant things we have in this game.
New blood coming in for both sides. Beverly to DeRozan. The screen sets him up for two.
Bread and butter. And there are few that can do it better off the screen.
Miami with the basketball. Probing the defense. Spins away from the defender. Sweet move. Butler. The Bulls with the rebound. Knocked loose. Heat get control. Short jumper stays out.
Let's be realistic. He's probably not going to miss a lot of shots. But the more effort you can give, you want to try to tire him out. Take his legs away. Make him work to catch the ball. That's how you win a defensive battle.
Not today.
Your contest was great because of your proximity to the player. You forced his follow-through to be cut short, which made him short-arm the shot.
Here comes the screen.
Hey, kick me the ball. That's short.
Their shot by Lowry misses. Beverly into the front court. His guys down big. Levine to Beverly. Great defense there, forcing the pickup. Knocked loose. He'd come up with it. Lowry. Lets it fly from beyond the arc. It's DeRozan, the rebound. To Beverly. Bam, Adebayo. Swats it.
Oh, he blocked that with authority.
Miami's got it. Oladipo. He shoots. Oh, off the mark.
The most important thing a shooter can do is continue to shoot. The defense is always going to give great effort, but it's more of your psyche that goes into the next shot that will limit you on whether you make the shot or not.
Has a chance, unbothered by the defense as he drills it.
From somebody who loved to score a lot himself, defensively, if you are guarding me in a parallel position, I can have whatever I want when I want. You have to force this guy to go one direction, make him go towards his weak hand, and then contest that shot.
DeRozan. Not that time. He missed it. Butler to bring it up. His guys hold a commanding lead. Oh, the touch at the rim. Count it.
Well, we got a chance to firsthand watch something be created. I think we just watched an epidemic of passing. I've never seen something like this before. It was so contagious, everybody started to do it, and it ultimately led to the other team's demise.
If that's an epidemic, sign me up. Both coaches dipping into their reserves. Changes coming onto the floor. Levine to Drummond. To Zach Levine. Fires the three. Zach Levine forcing that one there. Well defended.
Great contest by the D, but I want to see the coaching staff call the same exact play the next possession. Get that offensive player the ball. Let him prove that it wasn't the D. It was more in his own head.
Here comes the screen. Lowry. Swallowed up by Drummond. Beverly into the front court. Down a bundle. To Levine. Here comes the screen. Levine. Oh, ferocious slam inside.
And ISO basketball is becoming a thing of the past. Team basketball is back. And if you have that personnel with the versatility plus the mindset, game over.
Yes, and the foul. And a chance at three coming up.
The offense has very little to lose on those type of plays if they know they can, number one, create contact, and number two, still get the ball up. You need to assert yourself fully on the defensive end by initiating the contact and not allowing the offensive player to get that ball above his waist.
Kyle Lowry trying to cash in on a three-point play. For his career, 80% at the line. Free throw's good as they continue to widen their lead. Levine. Knocked loose. Nothing going here on that drive. Tony Bradley guarded by Jimmy Butler. Shot no good there by Levine. It's the Heat with the possession. Oladipo to Lowry. Lets it fly from long range. The Bulls clear the rebound. Knocked loose. Heat get control. Love to Oladipo. Nothing going here on that drive. Oladipo. Here's a chance from long range. And Victor Oladipo, quick catch and shoot that time for 3.
Yeah, and what we're seeing is a brilliant offensive display. You have ball movement, player movement, and great shooting to top it off. You get those 3 things going, you're going to be a dynamic offensive unit.
To Vucevic. Chicago with 4 to shoot. Levine. Trying to cash in. Wide open look, won't go.
Just seems like there's lead in the feet of the defenders. You have to bounce quicker to the ball to deter that shot.
Vucevic to Beverly. To Zach LaVine. Ball. Has a look. LaVine shot no good.
I love when I see a good contest. You're crowding the player's landing space, which naturally makes him worrisome about turning an ankle on that landing.
Screen coming. Oladipo. A bad pass, and the Bulls have it.
Tonight, it may not cost you, but in a playoff game, it will.
Short jumper off the mark. Oladipo into the front court. His guys holding the big lead. To Butler. A big finish at the rim. He took it out on the rim that time.
Oh, there's no better feeling than after throwing that one down, hanging on the rim a little bit, looking at your opponent beneath you, making him recognize that's where you'll be the entire ball game.
To Ball. For 3. Adebayo the rebound.
The game is won in the details. The team who has the most attention to the minutia is a team that wins the ball game. And from the beginning of this game, this team has been mentally engaged. I know the season's a long year, but when you come mentally engaged and you have attention to detail, whew, that's a scary thing to watch.
Oh, Jay, he commands the paint this time down.
I'm not sure that wasn't an offensive foul, but take it when you can get it.
Lowry to Butler. Keep on trying. Shot's no good there. Chicago possession. Beverly to Vucevic. Goes to the right side. Ball to Levine. Just inside the arc. At the buzzer. Shot no good there by Levine. The Heat with the victory as they win this one in blowout fashion. That does it. For my partner Jay Williams and our entire crew, I'm Ed Cohen. This has been a presentation of the NBA on EA Sports. For more, log on to easports.com. As we say, so long, everyone.
Hey everyone, it's Jalen Rose, and it's time for the EA Sports post-game wrap-up. The Heat were solid in today's victory, and the way they attacked the rim was outstanding. Not only is the dunk a high-percentage shot, it's also a great way to test the confidence of the defense. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Miami Heat. The Bulls just couldn't get within striking distance toward the end of the game. And even though some of them smiled and shook hands with the other guys after the game, you could tell by the way they headed to the tunnels how disappointed they were about this loss. Here are the guys who put up the most points for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls had a lot of trouble working as a team defensively, giving up the kind of assists that happened from poor communication. Butler didn't have much trouble working the defense and setting up his teammates with scoring opportunities.
Player of the game.
Butler was happy to throw down plenty of dunks. And if the defense happened to be there, he brought them along for the ride. These are the top plays of the game.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat put together a nice win here today. They did plenty of great things, but we all know what's going to be remembered are the dunks. And you know what? I'm going to remember nothing but the dunks as well. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Miami Heat. The Bulls didn't get the victory they wanted here today. I'm sure they can't help but feel frustrated with the result, but they can't let that feeling linger. Sooner than later, they need to start thinking about the next matchup. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls struggled to find an open man all game long, and that led to a lot of iso ball and bad looks. Butler was the one making the playmaking possible, dealing out some great passes.
Player of the game.
Butler was aggressive today with his scoring, getting his points right at the basket. He put down a crazy number of dunks in today's matchup. Time now for the top plays of the game.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat got themselves a win here today. And the way they attacked the rim was outstanding. Not only is the dunk a high percentage shot, it's also a great way to test the confidence of the defense. Here are the guys who put up the most points for the Miami Heat. The Bulls didn't lose big, but it wasn't exactly close either. And even though some of them smiled and shook hands with the other guys after the game, you could tell by the way they headed to the tunnels how disappointed they were about this loss. Check out the leading scores for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls definitely suffer from poor communication in this game. And I say that because of how many assists they gave up. The frustration among them was pretty obvious. Butler was behind the majority of those dimes and deserves a lot of credit for having his passes on target and on time.
Player of the game.
Butler seemed to think he could only score points with dunks in this game. Again and again, he kept throwing them down, and it was just astonishing. These are the top 3 plays of the game.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat added a win with today's solid victory. They did plenty of great things, but we all know what's going to be remembered are the dunks. And you know what? I'm going to remember nothing but the dunks as well. Check out the leading scores for the Miami Heat. The Bulls couldn't put it together to get the victory here today. I'm sure they can't help but feel frustrated with the result, but they can't let that feeling linger. Sooner than later, they need to start thinking about the next matchup. Here are the guys who put up the most points for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls found themselves scrambling around the floor, unsuccessfully trying to prevent the kind of passes that led to quality shots for the opposition. It was a problem throughout the game, no doubt about it. Butler didn't have much trouble working the defense and setting up his teammates with scoring opportunities.
Player of the game.
Butler was happy to throw down plenty of dunks, and if the defense happened to be there, he brought them along for the ride. Here are the top plays from the game.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat got the win with a comfortable scoring margin. And the way they attacked the rim was outstanding. Not only is the dunk a high percentage shot, it's also a great way to test the confidence of the defense. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Miami Heat. The Bulls put up a fight, but didn't get their hands raised at the end. And even though some of them smiled and shook hands with the other guys after the game, you could tell by the way they headed to the tunnels how disappointed they were about this loss. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls had a lot of trouble working as a team defensively, giving up the kind of assists that happened from poor communication. Butler was the one making the playmaking possible, dealing out some great passes.
Player of the game.
Butler was aggressive today with his scoring, getting his points right at the basket. He put down a crazy number of dunks in today's matchup. We got our top 3 plays for you. Check them out.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat put one in the win column with a solid performance. They did plenty of great things, but we all know what's going to be remembered are the dunks. And you know what? I'm going to remember nothing but the dunks as well. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Miami Heat. The Bulls just couldn't get within striking distance toward the end of the game. I'm sure they can't help but feel frustrated with the result, but they can't let that feeling linger. Sooner than later, they need to start thinking about the next matchup. Check out the leading scores for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls struggled to find an open man all game long, and that led to a lot of iso ball and bad looks. Butler was behind the majority of those dimes and deserves a lot of credit for having his passes on target and on time.
Player of the game.
Butler seemed to think he could only score points with dunks in this game. Again, And again, he kept throwing them down, and it was just astonishing. These are the top plays of the game.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat came away with the victory in this one. And the way they attacked the rim was outstanding. Not only is the dunk a high percentage shot, it's also a great way to test the confidence of the defense. Here are the guys who put up the most points for the Miami Heat. The Bulls didn't get the victory they wanted here today. And even though some of them smiled and shook hands with the other guys after the game, you could tell by the way they headed to the tunnels how disappointed they were about this loss. Here are the guys who put up the most points for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls definitely suffer from poor communication in this game. And I say that because of how many assists they gave up. The frustration among them was pretty obvious. Butler didn't have much trouble working the defense and setting up his teammates with scoring opportunities.
Player of the game.
Butler was happy to throw down plenty of dunks. And if the defense happened to be there, he brought them along for the ride. Top plays, and we've got 3 of them for you.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat were solid in today's victory. They did plenty of great things, but we all know what's going to be remembered are the dunks. And you know what? I'm going to remember nothing but the dunks as well. Check out the leading scores for the Miami Heat. The Bulls didn't lose big, but it wasn't exactly close either. I'm sure they can't help but feel frustrated with the result, but they can't let that feeling linger. Sooner than later, they need to start thinking about the next matchup. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls found themselves scrambling around the floor, unsuccessfully trying to prevent the kind of passes that led to quality shots for the opposition. It was a problem throughout the game, no doubt about it. Butler was the one making the playmaking possible, dealing out some great passes.
Player of the game.
Butler was aggressive today with his scoring, getting his points right at the basket. He put down a crazy number of dunks in today's matchup. Here we go with the top 3 plays.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat put together a nice win here today. And the way they attacked the rim was outstanding. Not only is the dunk a high percentage shot, it's also a great way to test the confidence of the defense. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Miami Heat. The Bulls couldn't put it together to get the victory here today. And even though some of them smiled and shook hands with the other guys after the game, you could tell by the way they headed to the tunnels how disappointed they were about this loss. Check out the leading scores for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls had a lot of trouble working as a team defensively, giving up the kind of assists that happen from poor communication. Butler was behind the majority of those dimes and deserves a lot of credit for having his passes on target and on time.
Player of the game.
Butler seemed to think he could only score points with dunks in this game. Again and again, he kept throwing them down, and it was just astonishing. Here we go with the top plays.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat got themselves a win here today. They did plenty of great things, but we all know what's going to be remembered are the dunks. And you know what? I'm going to remember nothing but the dunks as well. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Miami Heat. The Bulls put up a fight, but didn't get their hands raised at the end. I'm sure they can't help but feel frustrated with the result, but they can't let that feeling linger. Sooner than later, they need to start thinking about the next matchup. Here are the guys who put up the most points for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls struggled to find an open man all game long, and that led to a lot of iso ball and bad looks. Butler didn't have much trouble working the defense and setting up his teammates with scoring opportunities.
Player of the game.
Butler was happy to throw down plenty of dunks, and if the defense happened to be there, he brought them along for the ride. Here are the top 3 plays from the game.
Number 2. Number 1.
The Heat added a win with today's solid victory. And the way they attacked the rim was outstanding. Not only is the dunk a high percentage shot, it's also a great way to test the confidence of the defense. Here are the guys who put up the most points for the Miami Heat. The Bulls just couldn't get within striking distance toward the end of the game. And even though some of them smiled and shook hands with the other guys after the game, you could tell by the way they headed to the tunnels how disappointed they were about this loss. What you see here is how the majority of the points were scored for the Chicago Bulls.
Game track. Assists.
The Chicago Bulls definitely suffered from poor communication in this game. And I say that because of how many assists they gave up. The frustration among them was pretty obvious. Butler was the one making the playmaking possible, dealing out some great passes.
Player of the game.
Butler was aggressive today with his scoring